We've got loads more coming up throughout the day today. More inspiration, more great stories, and more opportunities for you to ask your questions as well. We do need to move to the more formal part of the day, which is the annual AGM. The annual AGM? It is the AGM. And this is where we go through the more formal part of the day. And to help us and to take us through that, would you please welcome long-standing trustee at Reach, Julie Tetheridge. Julie Tetheridge. Come on up. And she's bringing a few people up with her. Also, it's okay, we've got Julie here. We've also got one or two other people coming up as well in a moment. Plus, we've got people at home who are ex-trustees. We just want to say to Flavia, Lorraine and Nathan, could you please put your cameras on, please, so that we can get to see you here and interact. But I will leave you to Julie and your AGM. Thank you.
Right, if I could, thank you obviously for coming. I'm going to get Ruth up. So Ruth and I are both joint chairs at the moment. And then, Andrew, do you want to come and join us? No. Are we going to do? Shall I do the chair's report first, Andrea, and then we'll do the accounts? Go through the accounts. So obviously, I wasn't chair during the last financial year. So I've got Claire Salter's chair's report. You have all had a copy of that, but I will read through it. So it always seems a long time between the end of the reporting year and the AGM. The annual reports and accounts, which have been circulated with the papers for the AGM, are for the year ending the 28th of February 2022. Although things seem very different for many of us now, 21-22 was the second year that was disrupted by COVID. As a charity, this affected our fundraising, but more importantly, it affected our ability to carry on the activities that are most important to what Reach exists to do, the events that bring Reach children together. I'm just going to interject there because I think that follows on from what Frank's just said about trying to get the local branches back together again. And I'm going to add in a little bit here. I've got my local branch coordinators at the back, and they are brilliant, aren't they? So Tracy and Jason, thank you for getting West Midlands up and going. Okay, so we've made the most of the opportunities we can with virtual contact. The creativity of branch coordinators in organising events online was much appreciated, as was the buddy scheme organised by head office. And it was great to see the Reach Orchestra win a national award for its work showcasing a whole host of wonderful role models in the world of music. But nice though these things have been, it's not just the same as meeting up in person. So it's great that everyone's here today. It's been wonderful to see the world starting to open up again and real life events taking place again. We saw the beginnings of this in the second half of 21-22, and in the current year, things have really taken off again. The photos of branch get-togethers and the Reach Activity Week over the summer have really begun to make it all feel like we might be getting back to normal. I want to thank our past and present staff for their work they do in supporting the children and the families that we serve, and to Max and Tom, who do such a wonderful job in editing the magazine. Do you want to give us a wave, Max and Tom? I also want to pay tribute to the army of volunteers whose generosity with their time and energy make it possible for Reach to operate. Some of them are familiar faces, the branch coordinators, the raw leaders and mentors, all of whom work tirelessly to bring the children and families together. Others, like the trustees and the bursary panel members, who do more behind the scenes, taking difficult decisions that are necessary to enable the charity to function effectively and in line with the law. All of these people are central to making the charity the positive and supportive community we all value. We have seen some changes in the team during the current year, which is obviously following on from the AGM year. And I would like, and after the end of the financial year, and I would like some of these, I know that some of these have caused concern with some parts of the Reach community, but obviously we're looking forward to moving forward. So Claire wanted to say a special thank you to the 4 trustees that are standing down at the AGM, which is Flavia, Lorraine, Nathan and Sam. They have all made a massive contribution to the work of the charity during your time on the board and bringing our discussions to your bringing to our discussions your professional skills, your lived experience of limb difference, and your wise judgment and your commitment to reach. It will all be greatly missed. Claire then added on, which everyone is aware, that she advised the trustee board on the 11th September that she was going to stand down as well from the board, which is when myself and Ruth have took on as being chair. I would like to add on now, thank you to Andrea and to Lisa. Lisa was volunteering over the summer with administration, and Andrea's been our national coordinator. So I'd like to thank you both for all your help in getting us to here. Also like to thank and welcome Ashley. I don't know whether Ashley's online or not. She's our new interim administrator, hopefully for the next 12 months to see us through. And I would also like to thank everyone that's pitched in over the last couple of weeks with Sean and Lee and everyone that came last night and helped start getting everything together, and Rita that's out there. I think that's ready for handing over for the accounts. Yeah.
Shall I come over there?
You can do, yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Julie. The details of the annual report and the accounts are available if anyone would like to look through all of the details. But I thought I'd just pick out a few highlights, particularly for our new family members. It just might give you a little flavour of the kind of things that Reach does. As Julie said, actually, you have to remember that the period for the annual report and accounts covers the 1st of March 2021 to February this year. So you have to sort of think right back. And obviously, that was the time. It seems long ago now, but we were still sort of coming out of COVID. So that has affected the position a little bit. But nonetheless, and if I can have the next slide, please. Nonetheless, despite all of that, it really was another great year for Reach. So Reach has over 600 children and young people, and they're very much at the heart of the Reach family, and all kinds of ages and from all over the country. There are 19 branches across the UK and Ireland, and they provide, as Frank said as well, that really important contact and connection with other families. And the branches have been incredibly active. They are all volunteers, and with some support from head office, they were absolutely back up and running and having meetups in the second half of the year. The Reach Activity Week also took place in 2021, just after restrictions were lifted. So again, it seems so long ago since we had all restrictions and everything. But restrictions are lifted, and 31 young people were able to attend. And thanks again to an amazing team of volunteer leaders and mentors. The annual family weekend last year, 2021, was a hybrid with some studio guests and live streaming, and you can still watch that from our website. I also just wanted to mention the Sue Stoke Awards, which we've been doing for 10 years to celebrate the achievements of children and young people. And you will have heard earlier this morning Ruth, Emma and Orla giving a tribute to Sue in the first lecture of the kind. I think it's probably fair to say, out of all of the tragedy of COVID, some really good things came out of it, and we did things that perhaps we would never otherwise have done. The Reach Orchestra, which you mentioned, Julie, in Claire's report, was one of them, and that won an award at the Music and Drama Education Awards. We've also been very active, again, with the bursary panel, so we offer grants to remove or reduce barriers associated with upper limb difference. That's very much for adaptations that remove those barriers. And in the accounting year, 7 applications were awarded worth over £8,000. And just to say, I mean, since I joined Reach, one of the most valuable things that I think Reach does is really provide that first point of contact to new members and new parents, and connecting people to peer groups with limb difference within the community, and providing help for new parents is very much at the heart of what we do. And that was very much continued during the accounting year. And I think we just finished there just showing that we have growing, very active social media. So Reach is trying to communicate in lots of different ways to engage lots of different communities, not only the Reach family, but much wider than that. So the healthcare community, the policy community as well. So that's a quick rundown of what we did. I will move on now just to give a summary of the accounts. And again, all the detail is there if you would like to see it. So first of all, thinking about income, Reach received income of £170,000 in three main ways. The main way, accounting for 70% of the total, is through donations, legacies and grants. Almost a quarter of income comes from fundraising, and that includes things like the marathon and the fundraising that we do by selling merchandise. And then a small amount of income, about 7%, comes from charitable activities, so charging fees, for example, the fees for this annual family weekend and the activity weekend. I think we've said before, and it's worth saying again, that Reach doesn't receive any government or public funding. So a lot of funding is coming from you, the members, through subscriptions. That's over 20% of income through subscriptions, and the amazing fundraising activity. On fundraising, I mean, Reach links into national campaigns, such as Limb Loss and Limb Difference Awareness Week. And also we have our own Reach 5 charity challenge, and that raised an incredible £19,000. We have donations from high-profile figures such as Holly Arnold, a Paralympian, and we have sponsorship and quite a small but nonetheless important income from grants, trusts and foundations. I think also what I've found working at Reach is just the incredible sort of fundraising that you all do in your local communities. And we had £8,500 were raised through individual fundraising, so people having tea parties and all sorts of things. We do purchases through Amazon Smile, and lovely stories that I get to hear about family members saying, please don't give me any birthday presents. I'd like what you would have bought me as a birthday present, the money to be donated to Reach. And that's also done through weddings and christenings. So I think we should record again how grateful we are, how grateful the charity is for your continuing generosity and all of the things that you do. So just finally, we should also say about expenditure. So expenditure in the year was 180,000, and some of the categories here are I think, kind of charitable organisation categories. So we have to report on charitable activity. That's a heading we have to report on. And that's the majority, as you would expect, of what Reach spends on. So that's things like organising this weekend, the Reach Activity Week, and also salaries. And that counted for 60% of expenditure. Support activity, which again is some salaries, wages, and the office costs. That was almost a third of expenditure. And then we also have to report how much we spend on actually raising funds for the charity, which was about 11% of the total. And just to say, in summary, how was this year different from the previous year? Well, income was slightly lower, and I think that's a reflection of COVID. There just wasn't that amount of fundraising activity going on. And indeed, through restrictions, we were not allowed to do any of that fundraising activity. And but nonetheless, the activities of the charity carried on, so expenditure was only just broadly the same as the previous year. So that was my quick run through the highlights of the report and the accounts. Thank you.
So back to me just quickly. So obviously we've had the voting online for our new trustee board. And so I want to form, I don't know whether they're all in here, but if you are, you can come up and make yourself known so people can see you. So I just want to formally welcome the following new trustees to our trustee board. We've got Chris Creamer and we've got Gary Phillips, who have both been on the trustee board before. We've got Lee Harvey, we've got Joe Neal, we've got Esther Powner, we've got Emily Tishaw and Amber Thacker, but I'm not sure whether, I know Joe and Emily are busy out with the children in the crash, but so they are joining myself and Ruth on the trustee board. So we look forward to welcome you. Yes, that's Lee, got Gary, and then we've got Chris and Esther. So now it's. Do you want to do your little bit, and then so Ruth's going to say something, and then we've got an opportunity for any questions.
Is this mic on? Yeah. I'm going to stay sitting down. It's easier for me. We just felt, because of all the change in personnel that's been going on this last several months, that we ought to say something about it, just a little bit. Some of you will be aware that there's been some relationship difficulties within the organisation that have caused a significant amount of distress. But really, I just want to say that it's also very clear that every single person who has worked for Reach, either as a volunteer or as a trustee or as a paid employee, have done their absolute best to support this organisation. And we mustn't forget that and its members. And we're very grateful to everybody for all their work. More recently, we've been lucky to have Andrea to see us through. And we're also delighted to welcome Ashley, who Julie mentioned earlier, who is in the office now, full time. And she's going to be the point of contact for the time being whilst we work through the best options for staffing. Reach is moving on. I've written this down because it's not been so easy to put it across to you, but I really want to say Reach is moving on. Our family of families will continue as the positive, supportive and inspiring community it's always been. And that's why I'm here and we're all here. So Julie... Julie and I think when all the trustees that are here will answer questions. We're happy to answer any questions about this very special charity and the way forward for it. Thank you. You will deal with that.
Yeah, no, that's fine. First of all, thank you very much indeed to Ruth, to Andrea and to Julie for presenting your AGM today. Thank you. And also, I know they're online, they're watching, but a particular thank you as well to outgoing trustees, to Flavia, Lorraine and Nathan, who also, although they're afar, they can also hear you as well. And Sam, so please can we show appreciation to them as well. Thank you. And there they all are.
Oh, they're there.
So,
we've got it.
So what we'd love to do now, as Ruth said, is to take your questions, particularly looking towards the future of Reach, what you would like, any particular questions that you have. Feel free to do it through the roving mic. We've got some at the back and the front of the room. So again, make yourself known if you'd like to ask a question, or we'll also take questions from Slide. And we've got one, first of all, saying, how much was raised at the Reach Bespoke fundraising campaign this year? Does anybody know the answer to that?
You've got it.
One thing I know from looking at the accounts, which we don't normally do as the trustees, it's been quite difficult where it's very brilliant that people make donations, but they're not always very good at tagging what they're for, so it can be quite a challenge to try and work out what people are making the payments for online. But yeah, it certainly wasn't as high as it was last year, which was... so I don't know, it was a couple of thousand, but everything, pinching Tesco's tagline, every little helps. So.
Okay. The next question is funding allocated to branches for meetups depending on numbers in the branch? For example, more funds for bigger branches.
I think the aim is to make sure that whatever function is going to happen in the branches is enabled. I don't think we specifically allocate per person, but we make sure that those functions happen.
Okay. Any questions from the room at all? Yep, you've got a question at the back. And feel free, you can still do them anonymously through Slido, however you want to do. But this is your opportunity to ask questions before we go to lunch. Or maybe you're just so hungry you think, no, let us out, let's get some lunch.
Can't go too soon.
You can't go too soon, it's not ready yet. Okay, yeah, at the back there.
I'm interested. This is our first Reach weekend. I think talking to everybody that we met last night, which was amazing, and I can see this won't be our first Reach weekend. It will be the first of many. What are your plans in terms of supporting schools? You've talked a lot, Ruth, about the support in the very, very early stages, but for us, I think we've had a fairly easy ride of things, and it's just now with school. We had the experience of, please buy your daughter a recorder. And I'm like, has anybody considered she has a limb difference? And it's actually through Reach that I was able to say, we can hire a recorder for her, and she's going to try one today. But are there any plans for Reach to do some sort of outreach with schools?
Actually, I think somebody, and I don't know whether Tracy, it was you, the branch coordinators might well find somebody locally to go into the school to help support children starting school. I think that's happening. It may not be as regular or as we would like, and it's something that you're quite right that should be focused on, that there should be somebody who would go into the school. I think it's happened actually recently, if somebody can help me here.
Yeah, Frank would like to say something about schools.
Yeah, I've been to quite a few schools in Devon. I've even ventured over to Cornwall because I've got a passport. Somerset, Northampton, all sorts of... If you really have a child who you think is struggling in school because the school needs to know about the positive sides of a limb difference, then I'm willing, hopefully with timetable in mind, I'm willing to visit schools, and I know that Reach will support me with travelling costs. So don't feel shy. Just say, and then ring me up and we can discuss what sort of thing you would like me to raise at the school.
Thank you very much, Frank.
I would say... I would say my main job is I'm a secondary school teacher, and we've all had to attempt to do lessons over Teams. So even if Frank couldn't get there, they should be able to have facilities to do it online now. They've got no excuse. The teachers can certainly do it. The kids might not, but...
Again, we're going to rattle through quite a lot. Again, if you've got questions in the room, please let us know. We've got a few on Slido that we're going to mention as well. First of all, very simple one. Is there a coordinator for Wessex? As someone isn't aware of them, if there is.
It's the Southwest, and there is, and it's in the documentation.
Wessex is more...
Wessex is more sort of Winchester, Southampton-ish. Does anyone feel brave enough to tell us which city you're in or which is your nearest city?
So I'm Andover in Hampshire, and I'm more than happy for anyone from Wessex to come and join us as well. We tend to do South Berkshire, North Hampshire, so I will get in touch with anybody.
Well, you're just north of Winchester, aren't you, which is the heart of Wessex, so yeah. So for those who are listening at home and who couldn't hear, that we do have someone who is looking after Andover and that area of South Berkshire, Hampshire and so on. So if in doubt, the best thing is get hold of somebody at head office and they will point you in the right direction. They will find the nearest branch to you, wherever that happens to be. Perfect, good.
I think that follows on as well from what Frank said about trying to reinvigorate the local branches. And if anybody would like to take... We have got some vacancies. I'm not sure where they are, but we have got vacancies for branch coordinators. So if anybody would like to take that on, maybe find one of the branch coordinators that are here and maybe have a word with them to get some ideas and help. And I think that the more branch coordinators we would have, you can get smaller branches, so it's easier for people to get to. So
if there's a gap, let's fill it. Very quickly, thoughts on how to increase funding to support specialist nurses?
Well, yes, Emma is going to give me a job description for a start. And then, and then, yes, we have to address that. And at the moment, I've not given my head thoughts on how to do that, but I'm sure there will be a way. I'm not... and anybody who has any ideas, come and tell us, please.
And staying with you, Ruth, I'm afraid, when will the outcomes and ways forward for the recent member survey be communicated?
She's giving that to me. The member survey, I don't think it officially closes until the end of October.
That's right.
And then the plan is that we are having a in-person trustee meeting middle of November. So the idea is that we will take it there and start looking at it at the next trustee meeting, which is going to be a strategy meeting to...
And then it will get presented, we will present it to you.
Great. Any other questions from within the room at all? Yep, one over there.
Hi there. Sorry, it's more of a statement than a question. I just wanted to formalise a thank you very much, especially from myself, to Debs and Kate, who did a lot of work during COVID. So thank you very much to them as well.
Yeah.
And I think we spread that to everyone who's been helping. Thank you. Thank you for that. Oh, now here's a good question. How many branch coordinators are here today? Could they stand up so we know who they are? Go on. So there's 11 here today. Look at the... Can we show our appreciation to these hard-working individuals? Thank you. And actually, sorry to be, I'm going completely off script here. Can we just shout out, and I will repeat, but just say your region, where you are, where your branch is, please, starting over there. Northwest. So which city is that nearest to? Manchester, Northwest, yep. Sorry? 3 counties, Bedfordshire, around that area. Thank you very much. Right in the front.
East Anglia, so we're covering Essex, Cambridge.
East Anglia covering Essex, Cambridge, Suffolk, Norfolk, that area. Thank you very much.
All coordinating, so she's based in Norwich, I'm based in Cambridge.
So based in Norwich and in Cambridge, a duo there of activity. Thank you very much indeed. Give them another round of applause, because I think these guys are the lifeblood of the organisation. Lee.
Bristol and Gloucestershire.
So Lee in Bristol and Gloucestershire. Directly behind you, we've already heard, but you say it again.
So we are co-coordinators of Berkshire, Wiltshire and Oxfordshire.
Berkshire, Wiltshire and Oxfordshire. Thank you very much indeed. Behind you. Yeah, each time they say who they are, let's show our appreciation. Yeah.
I'm Andy and my wife Becky, so she's not sitting with me today.
It's going well in your region. East Midlands, Nottinghamshire, that area. Thank you very much indeed. North of Yorkshire. Brilliant. Okay, lovely. Thank you so much.
And there's 2 at the back. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm Hannah and I am co-branch manager with Jess of South East London, but Jess is doing the majority of the work at the moment, so I didn't want to stand up.
So South East London, that area as well.
There's
And
Tracy,
somebody else at the back,
Tracy
yes?
and-
We're West Midlands, Tracy and Jason.
West Midlands, thank you very much indeed. I love this. This is almost like that sort of smack. You know, when you used to smack and one goes down, somebody else pops up. So over there at the back.
Let's not forget the very quiet and unassuming Lorraine O'Farrell and Flavia from Dublin.
Thank you very much.
That ties in with the
And
next.
another. Yeah. So North East, Middlesbrough, Newcastle. I think we're pretty well represented around the UK. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much to all the branch coordinators. Brilliant. So what have we got? Anonymous, I look forward to the new trustee board and new chair being in place. So thank you very much. So a message of support there. Well, I think we just heard about Ireland. That was great. We've got some branch coordinators out there.
Should we let them talk about Ireland?
And so it's apparently a new area, something I wasn't particularly familiar with. So would anybody like to tell us a little bit more about Ireland?
Any?
Greeted by silence. Anyone feel comfortable to talk about Ireland?
Flavia.
Flavia?
Oh, thank you. Can you guys hear me?
Have you got your microphone on, Flavia?
Yeah, I do.
Speak up, we can hear you.
Okay. Hi, Al.
Okay.
Well, can you hear me okay?
No, we haven't.
No,
Okay, not to worry.
you want me? Yeah. We tried to combine the charities, Ireland with the UK. Ireland is in the European Union, and technically it becomes very difficult. So Ireland will have its own charity in Ireland, but they will be very linked to us, and we will do our best to make them as integrated as possible. That's the plan.
Okay, and we think we've got Flavia now. So can you give it a go, Flavia, one more time?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that right?
I can
Did
hear
you
myself,
me?
so you definitely can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, no, I think Ruth just did a good summary there. Myself and Lorraine are both here in Ireland. We were working as branch coordinators before here for Ireland. We joined and the board in there, but obviously things have changed. That there's the fact that the UK all that changing now. So that's exactly what Ruth said. We will. It's a separate entity, but the principles, the core, is going to be the same. And obviously, we look forward to work very close together to the main reach, I suppose.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Thank you, Flavia, in Ireland. Excellent. So, has anybody got any more questions, by the way? Because if they haven't, what I'd like to do is maybe with the three of you is, again, just give us your vision. Today is very much about the future, looking to the future of Reach, where we go from here. We've heard a lot about having more branch coordinators. Is there anything else that you feel that you would like the audience here to know and at home, or maybe that you would like their support with? Here's your opportunity to speak to the membership. Not putting you on the spot at all, of course, but is there anything that you would like to share in addition to what's been mentioned already?
No, not really. I would just say being supportive. This is our last day actually with Andrea. She only came on in a temporary position, so she's stayed with us. So I'd just like to say a really big thank you to Andrea. She's been amazing with what she's done over the last few months. So if you could have a round of applause. And obviously Ashley joined us. Was it week last Thursday? So obviously she's very new. She's obviously she's working remotely. So just bear with, please, and help and be supportive to her. And obviously, the first priority for the trustee board is to look at what staffing we need and getting adverts and getting some permanent staff in place. But yeah.
Ruth?
Yeah, well, just the same. Keep doing what you're doing and do more of it. That's really, because we're in the right direction. There is no question. What we're doing is fantastic, especially getting you all together as much as possible, either locally or now or whenever.
Thank you very much. Well, in that case, if nobody else has got anything else they wish to add. Oh, we've got one more question. Can I ask, this is a nice easy one for you. Income and expenditure for the last financial year was shared. With the income received, was it balanced out by expenditure? Does Reach have any reserves? Yes. And if so, what are the plans for those reserves?
We've got a reserves policy, which is based on if we, for some strange reason, we decided that was it, we're not going to do Reach anymore, what are all our outgoings that we're committed to? And it works out about 6 months of like salaries and rent and that. And so we've got a reserves policy where we will always aim to have £135,000 in the bank account. At the moment, our bank balances are at 200,000, so we've got 65,000 above that, and obviously I know from talking in the past at trustee meetings with Debs and that, it's very much a fine balancing act, because obviously it's really brilliant when our members do fundraising, but it's down to what people want to do. And another alternative is looking at grants, but sometimes trying to get a grant can be quite difficult because they look at the bank account and say, you don't need our money because you've got quite a lot of reserves. So we don't want too much reserves because it makes it difficult to get money from other grants. But we've got no aims to spend that 65,000 and get it down. And obviously, the more money we've got, the better, because it's more events that we can put on.
Yes, so we can do new projects like the mentoring, like the nurse liaison. Those projects are there, and we can begin to fund them. We can pump prime them. So
And I think a great way to finish our AGM today is to actually celebrate with some great news that has happened. And someone's just saying that their daughter Sarah is the recipient of the Reach bursary to adapt her car, one of the many bursaries that can be available. If anybody would like to see the car, and I don't think she's saying it's for sale. No, she's saying if you'd like to see it and talk about it, please ask. She's in a green jumper near the front. There she is. There she is. If you'd like to see the car, then please do. But I think that's a perfect example of some of the individual work that Reach does. So thank you to Reach for that. Thank you very much, Ruth, Andrea, and Julie. We'll let you go. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.